For years to come, these young students of St. Mary's will remember the day when they witnessed the shiny gold cross being lifted toward the sky and put in its place atop the church for everyone to see. The careful work it took to restore the cross is just one way of caring for the past. Generations before us prayed, worked hard, and sacrificed to provide a place to worship God in word and sacrament. With the growing congregation and increasing ministries to carry out the mission of Jesus Christ, the call now is one of building for the future, to meet the space and spiritual needs of our faith family.
Well, it's helped me develop a real love for my family and myself and Lafayette. It's really the center of my life.
It has been my home for 40 years. You know, I came here in 1958 and retired in 1990 and maintained my residence here in Lafayette because I like the community very much, and also have felt that the parish was a very fine parish and had a very good cross-section of people, and people who are interested in the faith and people who are dedicated to the service of the church and who are most anxious to do all that they can to improve the service of the church over the coming years and looking to the future, to the people who come into this community in later years too.
St. Mary's congregation has come a long way since the first 25 parishioners gathered to celebrate Mass in 1843. Their house of worship was nothing elaborate, just the back of a bookstore on 4th Street. Construction of the current church began in 1861, but the Civil War delayed that project. After the war, the church was completed, and St. Mary of the Immaculate Conception was dedicated on August 15, 1866. There have been numerous renovations to the church, many coming in late 1944 when St. Mary's was chosen to be the cathedral church for the new Diocese of Lafayette.
Every diocese needs a cathedral. The cathedral is really a statement of who we are, what we are as Catholics, that we're a community of faith gathered around a pastor who is the bishop, and that celebrates our Catholicism. So having a cathedral is very important. I believe it's very important for us to transform this basic parish church into a cathedral that will make a statement to the entire area that we are a community of faith that is Roman Catholic, that our structure is not congregational, it is Catholic. We are a tripartite church of parish, local church, diocesan church, and universal church, and a cathedral does that.
St. Mary's congregation has grown into a faith family of almost 3,000 culturally diverse members, and that number continues to grow. Because of this growth, St. Mary's needs more room to keep up with the demands of the parish and cathedral.
I think that the people here really wanted their church to look like something that they would be proud to invite people to come and celebrate in. And if you've noticed in the walls of the church, sometime in the past, someone started to clean the walls, but they only cleaned them so far. And you can see the layer of dirt that is above the level where they cleaned. Whenever I've brought people in the past from other parishes to the cathedral, they were excited about coming, but then when they were leaving, they were saying, you know, it's not quite what I was expecting it to look like. I didn't know the cathedral was so dingy. I didn't know it was so dark. If one looks at the carpeting, they'll see a lot of wear, as well as a lot of spots and stains on the carpeting. If one looks at the plaster of the church, they see a lot of paint peeling, and also a number of places where the plaster itself has chipped off.
That's why we are beginning phase 1 of the Caring for the Past, Building for the Future campaign. Phase 1 would completely renovate the interior of the church to provide a warm, uplifting sanctuary, to praise God in full voice or for prayer in solitude, to welcome a new member to our parish family in baptism, to celebrate the joyful marriage of our sons and daughters, or to find comfort in times of sorrow. A gathering space is planned so parishioners have a place to socialize and to provide a place for families with young children so they can still be a part of the liturgy. 62 years ago, the members of St. Mary's were called upon to do their part in a renovation of the church. Then Pastor Monsignor Michael Chapman wrote to his flock saying, "We must no longer go on living on the reputation of our grandfathers, but must at last do our share." And those words hold true for us today. The Caring for the Past, Building for the Future campaign will ensure future generations will have a place to worship that lifts their hearts and minds to God.
My feeling about the renovation is that it's a good project because of the fact that obviously the building is in need of not only painting, but to become updated with the church's thinking about community and the sacramental aspects of the liturgies.
It's just been there for so long, practically all my life, and it all impressed me, all of it, that it was just a nice church.
Many different ministries are meeting the needs of people of all ages at St. Mary's. To enrich the spiritual needs, there is Christ Renews His Parish for the adult members. And to help the littler members understand and grow in their faith, there's the Children's Liturgy of the Word. There's also religious education, Bible study, and youth ministry for our teens. To make new friends and strengthen old relationships, there are groups for seniors, married couples, and recently married couples. And don't forget the fun times at the parish picnic and ice cream social, and of course, the Fall Festival. The church not only reaches out to those in need within our parish, but also seeks to help others through the prayer chain and Caregiver's Companion. Phase 2 of our campaign includes the building of a new social hall to create more space for parish life to grow.
I'm excited about the fact that there will be a gathering space in which people can gather and become community right away as they enter the church. And after the celebration liturgy, to regather back there to say their goodbyes.
I guess every generation thinks that their challenge is the biggest, but I think when we compare that against the things that people have done in the past, it's not nearly the challenge. I mean, Catholics as a whole today are much better off educationally, financially, many other ways. And of course, we have a lot of obligations too to our children, etc. But still, I think most Catholics still feel very satisfied that the church is an important part of their life and that they need to continue to support it. And I think we'll see that as part of this campaign.
When this renovation is completed, I think people will want to drive halfway across the state to show it off with pride, and they'll want to come here and be part of ceremonies that are held here too. And it really will be a celebration of a joyful church that has witnessed to their faith in Jesus Christ.
We, the parishioners of St. Mary's, have been given a special task. We are not just building a building, but building a place to join hands and hearts in praise and thanksgiving for what God has provided us and our parish, and to provide more space to give us better opportunities for parish ministries and social interaction well into the 21st century.
Well, as a recent convert to the Catholic faith, it's been kind of a strength, a place to come with my family and worship God, really. A place to get involved with this community, having moved back within the last 4 or 5 years. It's kind of brought us together, helped us get involved quite a bit, just not only in the church, but in the community as well.
Well, St. Mary's has been a very important part in my family's life. I'm a convert to the Catholic Church, and my wife has always been a very strong supporter. And in our early marriage, we found St. Mary's to be a very comforting place for us to be. It's been a place that we've been able to raise our children and now our grandchildren, so it's set deep in my heart.
Originally, when we came to Lafayette 18 years ago, we came to St. Mary's because my sister and her family had been St. Mary's parishioners, but it was more coming to Mass Mass on Sundays was strictly an obligation, but since my husband and I both participated in the Christ Renews His Parish program, coming to Mass now is a commitment to our faith, and it's very important for us to come to St. Mary's now. St. Mary's is truly an extension of our family.
St. Mary's is a family to us. It's our extended family. We became part of the parish in 1993, and since then we've become increasingly active in different ministries through Christ Renews His Parish and lecturing, Eucharistic minister, and now we're involved in children's liturgy, and it's exciting because we're getting to know more people at St. Mary's, and that's why I mean by extended family. We're also, my husband and I belong to the married couples group, and that has been a blessing because they've been there for us.
Alone, our task is impossible. Together, it can be done. Not equal gifts, but equal sacrifice will make our Caring for the Past, Building for the Future campaign a success. And like the children who sang songs of joy when the cross was returned to the steeple, we too will celebrate the fruits of our giving, prayers, and sacrifice in a church that leaves a legacy not only for the members of St. Mary's, but for the entire Lafayette Diocese.